Working Cows Podcast, episode 329. This episode is brought to you by C90 Ocean Minerals.
Welcome to the podcast that gives producers a platform to discuss and share paradigm-challenging practices. Practices that have increased the effectiveness of their operation and the joy that their families have received from this lifestyle.
Howdy, everybody. It's Clay Connery, host of the Working Cows Podcast, recorded exclusively in the C90 Ocean Minerals studios. And this episode is brought to you by C90 Ocean Minerals. C90 provides complete mineral and trace element nutrition for your soil, pastures, and livestock. This fall, apply C90 to your soil and begin remineralizing and restoring your soil fertility. C90 feeds your soil microbiology so bacteria and fungi can better process natural nitrogen and plant nutrients. Next season, you'll enjoy more productive soil that produces higher quality pastures. Your animals will benefit from protein-packed, nutrient-dense grass that helps improve their vitality. Give our team a call or visit our website at c-90.com. That's www.c-90.com. Call 717-580-1458 and be sure to listen to Working Cows episodes 261, 282, and 312 to learn more. Very excited to be joined once again today by Enrique Guerrero. Enrique is a guy that I talked to about regenerating mine land on episode 220 of the Working Cows podcast. It'll be linked in the show notes page for today, workingcows.net/329. I'd encourage you to go check that out. We're going to get a little bit of an update about that, but then we're going to talk about some of the benefits of ultra-high density grazing that Enrique has been seeing on his ground there in Mexico, and they've been through a drought and have really seen a drastic reduction in the rainfall over the last few years, and he'd been on a few-year-long journey of ultra-high density grazing, and so we're going to talk to him about some of the benefits that has brought to his ranch, and then we'll also talk to him about another project that he's got going on at Longfellow Ranch in Texas. So very excited to welcome him back to the show. Enrique, welcome back to the Working Cows podcast.
Thank you very much, Clay. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. It's been 2 years from the first podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for the invitation. Thank you very much.
And I'm very happy to have you back on. I think the work that you've done with the mine reclamation is work that needs to be featured more. And I think sometimes, or some that has happened, that work has gotten, the word about that work has gotten out and has been featured in other places. But could you give me a little update on the mine reclamation project and how some of that's continued to progress?
Yes, sir. Well, I want to tell you before I tell you the results and the updates, I would like to tell you a beautiful story about the last podcast. You know, I went to a convention and a rancher came up to me and say, "Hey, man, thank you very much. Thank you, and thanks, Clay, and the podcast. I was going to sell my ranch. I was very disappointed. I was having a big crisis. And somebody told me about the podcast, and I listened to the podcast, and I quit selling my ranch. You know, I was going to sell it, and every time that I feel bad, I listen that podcast. I am applying what I learned on the podcast. His ranch is, I believe, is a desert, so he did the same that what we did in the mine, putting corn stalk, you know, on the soil, and he's very happy. He's very happy. So sometimes we work a lot and explain and say, you know, our passion is to talk to the people and explain about regeneration, but you know, this kind of details on your work and in my work, give us, a lot of satisfaction, because can you imagine a guy thinking to sell the ranch? So congratulations on your podcast. You are doing an amazing job. All the people that wants to know something, just go to your podcast and they're gonna listen to people with a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and people talking about what not to do. The first thing that we need to learn is not to do the same mistakes. So what not to do is the most important. So thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Praise God. He continues to use this podcast, and I'm very blessed and humbled to be a part of it and to be able to talk to individuals like you who have been boots on the ground doing the work and seeing some of the transformation of those things. So we did talk on episode 220. It'll be linked in the show notes page for today, workingcows.net/329. There'll be a link to our previous episode there where people can go and get the in-depth kind of process that you went through to bring about the mine land regeneration and how you did that. You mentioned the corn stalks and some of those things, but could you give me an update on how those results have progressed? What's new and what's been the continuing results of that project?
Okay, on the mine, as you know, we won an award, and I'm happy for the miners because they deserve that award. They were thinking outside of the box and trying to do, synergy with cattlemen, and the results, all the soil covered with 4 perennial grasses, completely covered. And so we did a rest for 18 months. That means 2 raining seasons. We rest the land to let the roots to get deeper and deeper and establish. So after those 18 months, we put cattle in low density. Well, about 300 cows per hectare. We were doing 2,500 density, and we went to graze those grasses again after 18 months. We put 300 cows per hectare density with quick change, just trying to eat the top of, the seeds with quick change. And then when we finished grazing the land, we did another 18 months rest. So it's the cattle deposit again the seeds, and is resting right now. Next month we're gonna start doing another grazing over there with less density. Now we're gonna go 200 cows per hectare and try to eat 50% now, and give the next rest will be 1 year,
Yeah. Is it currently, we're talking in the beginning of October, this will come out just in a couple of days from when we're recording it. So basically as people are hearing it, that's what season we're in. Is this considered growing season? I know that a lot of moisture in the desert there is monsoonal, so it comes in August and September, if I'm right. And then, so is this part of the growing season for you guys generally?
No, we end the growing season at the mine. The mine is located at the mountains, so it's like Colorado. Is the same Sierra. So it is the end of the. And I believe today we have the first frozen morning, so we're gonna start grazing in a couple of days on that place to eat 50% of the grass that we produce again. But yeah, is the end of the growing season.
Sure. So you've let that grass fully recover, go to seed, and then you're going to graze it here here in just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Yep. It's continuing to progress positively. This method continues to bear good fruit as far as the project is concerned.
Yes, a lot of people is very interested in this project. I am doing consulting for people. One mine in Brazil, one mine in Argentina, Peru, and South Africa. I am doing consulting by Zoom, phone calls and emails. I want to focus on ranches. I am a rancher, but I really wanted to keep doing this. But right now I am focused working on consulting ranches in Chihuahua, in Texas, New Mexico.
Sure.
But the good news is 4 mines are doing the same right now.
Mm. And these are new ones since we talked last 2 years ago?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they start they start one year ago, and we don't do nothing. We just need the right cattle, the right cows, and they do everything. So it's when you have the right cows, they do the job. You just take care of them, feed them.
What makes the right cow for this project?
You need medium and low frame cattle from the same ecosystem. This mine that I did the regeneration is high altitude, so you need genetics for cold weather, and because the mountains and the slopes, you need low frame or medium frame cattle.
Low input type cattle, and then again adapted to the environment as far as altitude and some of those things are concerned.
Yes, sir.
Yep, very good. Anything else on the mine regeneration? Again, I encourage people to go check out workingcows.net/220 is the first episode we did. But anything else on the mine regeneration update?
No, that's for now. Well, that's all about the mines. We are not doing any more in Chihuahua yet. We have 2 bad years. Last 2 years, the corn stock went too high. The prices. So that was the problem, because we use a lot of corn stock, and was very expensive here in Chihuahua. So that's the problem, that we didn't use it on the last 2 years.
You mentioned earlier that one of the other things you wanted to talk about is kind of your experience on the home ranch there. Can you tell me, first of all, where that is, remind people where that is, and then talk about some of the things you've been experiencing there?
Yes, sir. Well, everything started on my ranch. Me and my wife inherit a ranch, the same place like the mine at the mountains in Chihuahua, high altitude. So we inherit a ranch. We are the third generation to work on that ranch. It's 8,000 acres. It's a good land, you can find cedars, oaks, and pines, and good perennial grasses with 600, at least 650 millimeters, that is 26 inches, the rain per year, so is good rain. And we thought we have a profitable and sustainable ranch, to make money. But when we start doing the grasses inventory, checking the soil, checking the ground, we found out, we got disappointed that we inherit a ranch with the certification just starting, no perennials, good perennials that used to be there, no good grasses, just bunch grasses, and a lot of bare ground. So we thought, what are we gonna do? We need to do something for this ranch, improve it, because it's our job now as a third generation. Do something different. That was caused because the traditional grazing, selective grazing, that everybody used to do. So we start looking to do something different, and we check the holistic management. We check a lot of methods, and I heard during that time that Johan Sisman and Jim Elizondo both were coming to Chihuahua to give a talk. I went to the conference with them, and they talk about the ultra-high density grazing and genetics for, low maintenance grass genetics. So when we finished with the conferences, 2 days, I asked them if I invite them to the ranch, and they said, yes, let's go to your ranch. Can you imagine both, those guys going to my ranch? So that was amazing that they accept to go to my ranch. So we went to the ranch, and they say, you have a good potential here. Just you need to do ultra-high density grazing, and you don't need to seed the ground, nothing. Just start with the ultra-high density grazing and work on your genetics. You have good genetics, but you can make a composite. So that was good news for me, and good consultants that I start using. But I say, well, I'm gonna start with this, but I learned a lot with the miners, a lot that you if you have a project, you really need to become an entrepreneur, a businessman. So I call my business as a grass producer. I'm gonna start a business producing grass. So I'm gonna forget that I am a rancher, that I am, we always work on the ranch, and I think United States is the same. We do everything, we are happy if we work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and, work hard, but we never sit on the office and think about to become entrepreneurs, So the first thing that I did after I learned something with Johan Sisman and Jim Elizondo is another amazing guy I invite to the ranch. You know him, Dave Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him to the ranch for 1 week. So he was with me, tell me about finances. So I learned how to do the ultra-high density grazing, and then start working on the business, start working on finances. So the first thing that I did is try to check the value of my land. And I found out the value was too high. No fences, no infrastructure, no water, nothing, no grass, and the value was too high. Also, I checked the value of my neighbor's ranch. I asked him, how much do you want for? I want to buy your land. And when he said the price, I realized that I have something with a lot of work, So that tells me that I can do, regeneration, and it's going to pay, it's going to increase the value of my ranch. So I I divide my work in 4 stages. So the stage number 1 was training, learn everything about ultra high density, learn everything about what I need to do, when, everything. So that was the first stage. Train myself, but train myself to be the CEO, not to do it. I learned that with the miners, with the entrepreneurs, that you need to hire people, and it's fun what I'm going to say, but you need to hire people smarter than you. The entrepreneurs, that's what they do. They hire people smarter than them, but nobody knows that. But so I hired the first guy that I hired was to do the water. I started, unbelievable. We used to have 1 inch diameter lines, water lines. So we cannot use anymore the 1 inch. So I hired this guy to make a master plan on the water. Water is first. To do regeneration, you need to make sure you have enough water. And thinking that you're gonna triple the stocking rate, on your ranch. If you have 100 cows, with regeneration in the future, you will have 300 for sure. For sure, regeneration means more grass, and you will have it. You will have it. So we make a master plan with water, trying to use gravity. So we did a master tank, a big master tank to have a lot of water, in a big mountain. And then we put the line trying to cross in the middle of the ranch, so we can use that line. And after we put the water, the water line was an alley, that alley for the cattle. So after we planned the alley, we planned to put electric fences, stripes, 500 feet wide, every stripe, and start doing ultra-high density grazing, and with 6 chains per day. But we started everybody says, I want to start doing regeneration on the part in my ranch that I don't have grasses, I don't have nothing. So we started in the best part of the ranch with grasses, and the best part, not the bad part, So we start there. The second after I hired this guy, I look for the right people, the cowboys and people to build fences. Cowboys are cowboys, and the collaborators to build fences are different. But I realized as an entrepreneur, I don't know how to treat, collaborators, workers. So I took a master degree on how to hire people and everything, how to take care of them, and so how to be the best employer. It's not the money that you pay more. No, you need to treat people with dignity, with justice. I learned a lot of that. All the entrepreneurs must take this, master on how to be a good employer. Our employers are everything. They are our workforce, So I took that diploma, and I really like it. I think it's one of the best on my courses that I took. And they teach you how to treat people, how much you're going to pay, if you have they call them collaborators. They are not workers because they collaborate to build the wellness on your ranch, on your business, So
Yeah.
I start applying that with my people, and the results were amazing. The people were very happy. They have all the. I learned this word that is subsidiarity. I didn't know what was that word, and subsidiarity is to give the tools to the people, to train the people, and give everything for them to succeed. So I also trained him. I took him to a course on ultra-high density grazing. I took him to several ranches to see how they make the change, how the results. Some ranches already had, in that time, some ranches had a lot of results on the grass, on the body condition, everything. So I took him to several ranches, so they knew the results already. After, when I trained the people, I hired the guys to do the fences also, and I did the same. I took him to the ranch to see the how they build the fences. We put just one wire, but it stays forever. All the fences are forever. We put just one high tensile single wire, but believe me, you're gonna say it's a lot of work. Can you imagine every 500 feet put a fence?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fish bone, but the results and everything will be very, very, very easy. Very easy. I used to have four cowboys when we started with 1,000 cows. Now I have 2 cowboys. Everything is very easy. So we start doing 1,000 cows per hectare density on the best part of the ranch. And we try to take the cattle during the night, to spend the night in the bare ground places on the ranch. So they eat grasses during the day, doing not selective grazing. And we did a total grazing on the bunches grasses. We ate everything. Total grazing or attack grazing or overgrazing, whatever you want to say. But we tried to get rid of the bunch grasses, everything until the ground, And sometimes we took the cattle to a mountain, a slope in a mountain. We put the fences. We graze the cattle at level, from the left to the right on level, and we did the same. We used to have a lot of bunch grasses in places with a lot of rocks. So a neighbor one day a neighbor came to my ranch and say, "Hey man, I'm gonna tell you something. I hope you don't get mad, but I always drive this road and I see on the sides, on the mountains, a lot of grass, and now I just see rocks. You're gonna kill the ranch, man. You need to take care. You are doing overgrazing. I think you are new here and you don't know how to graze, but never in 30 years I have seen these mountains with just rocks. So be careful." And I say, I thought that you were coming to congratulate me because for the first time in 30 years, I get rid of the grasses. I ate all the grasses it's hard to put the cattle there and eat those grasses, bunch grasses. So anyway, after the raining season, he came and said, "I'm sorry, I apologize. It's beautiful there. Can you tell me how can I do it? Where can I buy all the energizer and the wire and everything? Because was beautiful there." So after 2 years doing high density on the ranch with 1,000 cows per hectare density, we had an amazing result immediately, but we were just focusing on the ground, and we realized we were losing body condition. So we tried to slow down and go from 1,000 to 500, because it was a lot of density. So we changed from 1,000 to 500, and 500 cows per hectare high density was also okay. So we changed it. We changed the density, and every year we try to put more water and more stripes, more fences. And after that, we everything in the ranch is very simple. Believe me, the cattle is they tell you when they need the movements. You are not a cowboy anymore. You are like a shepherd. Mm-hmm. You are not a cowboy anymore. You don't need a horse. You are a shepherd. You like a shepherd. You have a connection with your herd. Mm. They tell you if they need to change, or you call them when it's time to change them, and they follow you. Everything is amazing. But believe me, on the ground, after 2 years, just 2 years, we start seeing all the perennial that we didn't have. Very good grasses. And on the third year, we tripled the stocking rate. We went from 300 cows to 900. So amazing the results, the results. But now I would like to tell you this year, everybody, about this year. Of course, we have, this is the 5th year doing regeneration, and this year was very, very special. I told you on the last podcast that the award was for the miners, that I will look for my award, but in my ranch, So this year I won the award, because 150 millimeters of rain. Can you imagine 500 millimeters less, 20 inches less instead of 26 at least? I couldn't believe what we did with 6 inches. A lot of grass there. We did the inventory 3 weeks ago, and we couldn't believe how much is the grass production on this year with that amount of water. So the learning here is that you need to work on the ground. You need to give the fertility back to the ground, and with less water, you're gonna do a lot of grasses. And we were thinking that next year we won't have rain, will be a drought. So we have to have a reserve for another year. And So that means if we have a reserve, we won't sell any cattle. So that we do our inventory in September the 20th always. So to make sure we don't have to sell cows. But this year we were thinking to sell cows, and we couldn't believe it when we did the inventory. Believe me, we don't have to sell cows. We have enough grass for 1.8, years. So we have grass from here to July, and also for one year from July. So we really need to think that it's not the rain, is what you do with the ground. Regeneration is everything, and there is a favorite place in my ranch, neighbor's fence. I sent you the picture from neighbor's fence, and it was incredible. Just nothing on the neighbor's ground. You didn't see any grasses, so it's incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah, very good. So on the home ranch, what was the timeline? When did Johann Zietzman and Jim Elizondo come to your ranch? What year?
They came to my ranch in 2014.
And you said that you kind of approached this in 4 stages, and the first stages was training. What was next?
Okay, after the stage 1 for me was training, and then the stage 2 is to do a master plan. The master plan is thinking that you don't have the money, so you need to do a master plan with what you have. You do a master plan, and then try to, if you realize that you're gonna have to start investing in, the first thing is to put the water lines with a lot of flow, thinking that you're gonna triple the stocking rate. So the second stage is try to do a master plan with what you have and what can you get. If you have money, you can start, but water is first, and my recommendation is to hire people that knows about water, gravity, and everything. As I told you, we need to become entrepreneurs. We need to buy a suit and a tie and sit on the office, believe me, and it's gonna pay because I'm telling you, the value of your rights that I told you, plus the regeneration, everything pays. So you need to be the entrepreneur. After that, the stage 3, is when you need to put more infrastructure and more genetics. After you you are convinced that everything, the regeneration works, so you need to start on stage 3, more infrastructure in fences. After the water, more fences. Right now, I am, advising people on temporary fences. If you don't have money to put fences, for forever, you can move the mobile fences, because it's very easy. It depends on your ranch, but you can also do a mobile. Right now, some places we are doing mobile, and believe me, also works. And the fourth stage is when you need to maybe buy more cattle or leave all your heifers. Put a bulls on your heifers and keep the pregnant heifers or bring cattle, do a stock operation. But believe me, you're gonna need cattle. You're gonna need cattle because the results on the ground are in 3 years you are seeing 300% more grass on your ranch. So you need to be ready for stage 4. That means more cattle.
And genetics. You mentioned genetics. How have you gone through the process of finding genetics that work in this kind of management?
Well, genetics is very, very, very important part of the business, because the reality we found out that a reality the cattle they don't like non-selective grazing. They don't like high density grazing. So some cattle you're gonna have to sell it because they cannot make it. But I'm talking about 30%, the most. So what you need to do, a composite that can fit on your ranch. Nobody's gonna tell you. You just need to watch and see the behavior on your cattle. But definitely, if you have a big frame, you need to put a smaller frame, because on this kind of grazing high density, you need medium 4, 3, medium 3, and we start using Machona. Machona genetics is an African breed that is giving an amazing results on the grass-fed operation that we are doing. Machona is cattle with inherent body condition, with very good hormonal balance, lower your frame, that cattle lower your frame. And with this kind of temperatures right now, is a heat tolerant. So we try to put a quarter of Machona on the Angus. Some people are using Angus, Corriente, and Machona, but definitely on this operation, try to find a good composite.
Do you think it's continuing to get better? You've been doing this since 2014. Do you think it's just continuing to get better? How was the process, the line, or how has the process been? Was it really, really quickly getting better at the beginning, or was it slowly getting better at the beginning and it's gaining traction now? How do you think about that?
Well, I think the first 3 years we started to 2015, from 2015 to 2018 was very slow. But after the third year, we really have amazing results. Amazing. We start looking for leave all the heifers because we need cattle. The results on the ground were amazing. We have some problems with genetics, but we start with the Machona, and also we bought Hereford bulls, and we did an AI. But after the third year, everything was easiest. Right now, my wife, she's managing the ranch by herself. I am in Texas, and believe me, we went from 4 cowboys, 1,000 cows, to 2 cowboys, two herds, 500 cows each herd, and they manage everything, and we have more. The conception rate was from 65. Right now it's 90%, 92. So everything, the grass is everything. And how much is the corn right now? How much all the commodities? So how much our grass is worth? So it's almost how much my grass right now that all the neighbors, they don't have grass. How much is that? I found an amazing, real estate company. Now people are thinking to regenerate. Those real estate companies that mention we buy ugly houses. Well, but right now there's a company that mentioned we buy ugly ranches. They are buying ranches and doing regeneration to sell them, So they do regeneration. They buy ranches without grass, without nothing, and they regenerate them and sell them. So the people are thinking about this as a business too,
Yeah, definitely an opportunity. Very good. I appreciate all of that history of how you guys went through this process on the home ranch. And when we first talked, it was about 2 years ago, as you said. You were just starting a project at the Longfellow Ranch. Can you tell me a little bit more about that process?
Yes, sir. Well, after we won this award in the mine, I have several job offers, but I didn't want to go to mines or ranches in Montana, far away from home, And I had this opportunity in Longfellow Ranches, Mitchell Group. They have an oil and gas operation, and also they have cows, but they have 350,000 acres in West Texas, a big ranch, and they used to have 4,000 cows, and they start selling cows, and they kept just 1,000 cows. And my boss, Malone Mitchell, he read about Alan Savory. This ranch is a very good ranch. Can you imagine? They brought 50 years ago. They brought 50 elks, cows, and 5 bulls, and right now they have 2,000. So the wildlife is telling you that those are good ranches. But during these years, without any planned grazing, they are losing the wildlife. They are leaving the ranch because a lot of bunch grasses, and so they are leaving the ranch. So they read about Alan Savory, and they say, well, we need to do something because we care about the cows, but we also love the elks and hunting. They had a hunting operation there. So they called me and offered the job to do regeneration. It's a big challenge, but right now we have 2 years with amazing results. It's the same like my ranch with 6 inches of rain over there where we start doing regeneration. We have a lot of grass with 6 inches. So we are very happy. The ranch is very, very big, but we're gonna do it. That ranch is going to be a school for a lot of people that wants to come and see the results, because it's desert. Sometimes if you go to Missouri or Oklahoma, you wanna see the results, but those ranches have a lot of rain. It's different, but here is different. To do grass with on that desert, you really need to do the things very well.
Are you using ultra-high density grazing there at Longfellow Ranch?
Yeah, we start the ranch was using just the central part with cattle. So the central part was very, very bad because they always use the central part. So we start doing regeneration there with ultra-high density grazing. And then this year, we are resting that part of the ranch and using another areas that had about 10 years without cattle. So we have overgrazing and overrest and everything, because the ranch is very big. But the central part right now, you can see the difference and you can see the wildlife there. So the wildlife is there, is back. We did the inventory, and I think we have again all the elks back on the ranch.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And how long do you think the recovery period is when you're doing ultra high density grazing on some of these areas where you've had 6 inches of rain? What kind of recovery period are you looking at?
It's gonna be on those parts 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
18 months to come back again. And in bare ground, we are doing the same as my ranch, grazing during the day in bunch grasses and perennial grasses, and then we make an alley and take the cattle to spend the night in bare ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the results, we are not using corn stalks over there. Just we take the cattle to spend the night in a bare ground area.
From having them spend the night in the bare ground areas, that's making a difference? It's having a positive impact?
Yes. You take the seeds in the cattle, and put it in those areas.
Yep.
And then those areas, you don't touch them for maybe 2 years. Maybe depends on the rain and everything, but you are sitting with the cattle.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Enrique. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover today, or anything else you were hoping to say, or more that you wanted to talk about Longfellow Ranch?
No, I just want to thank you for another opportunity to talk and tell the people that it's possible, that we need to think, on regeneration. This July was the hottest in the history, the hottest July. So why our earth is hot? Because we need to cover the ground with grass. We need to do something, take actions in our ranches. And don't forget about the carbon credits. Also it's going to be a business. So you cover the ground, you produce grass, you triple the stocking rate, and also you're going to get money from the carbon credits. So everything is going to pay all your effort and everything. But we need to think about it. And also what I mentioned, become an entrepreneur, a businessman, and try to sit on the office, buy your suit, your tie, and think different. It's gonna pay. It's gonna pay. We don't want to give orders. We want to go and do whatever we want to do. But you need to give orders, work on the business, and supervise your orders. But hire people and do things different, and it's gonna pay. You're gonna pay the business.
Buying the suit, sitting in the office. You learned that from Dave Pratt, right? Working on the business.
Yes, my amazing friend Dave Pratt. I learned from him. Yeah.
Very good. Enrique, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Let's take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor today, C90 Ocean Minerals. C90 provides complete mineral and trace element nutrition for your soil, pastures, and livestock. This fall, apply C90 to your soil and begin remineralizing and restoring your soil fertility. C90 feeds your soil microbiology so bacteria and fungi can better process natural nitrogen and plant nutrients. Next season, you'll enjoy more productive soil that produces higher quality pastures. Your animals will benefit from protein-packed, nutrient-dense grass that helps improve their vitality. Give our team a call or visit our website at c-90.com. That's www.c-90.com. Call 717-580-1458 and be sure to listen to Working Cows episodes 261, 282, and 312 to learn more. Very good stuff there with Enrique. I really appreciate his time. I think if we get the schedule worked out, we'll be talking to Clint Fisher coming up on the next episode of the Working Cows podcast. But if not, really looking forward to the next episode of the Working Cows podcast. It'll be coming your way real soon. We will see you then.
We invite you to visit workingcows.net to subscribe to the show via iTunes or Stitcher. You'll also find detailed show notes pages, resources from our guests, and the industry leaders who have influenced them. For more ideas on putting your cows to work for you in a more profitable way, tune in next week.